We're going to build the best football team in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Derrick Leblanc! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Derrick! It's Derrick! Got a touchdown! Derrick got a touchdown! Oh, man! Derrick's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium in Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatore.
Same corner, same time.
We got a couple people with missing voices this week, so
Yeah, sounds
bear with us.
wet vibes, man. I expect horse voice, you know, and some good stories. What we got, Nick?
Yeah, congratulations to Kyle and JC Johnson. Had the opportunity to go down and be a best man for a buddy who I've known since high school. Beautiful wedding, Riverside Hotel, right there on Las Olas on the river there. Weather was nice. Drinks were flowing. Dancing was done. Daniel,
My man, Dancing Nick.
clearly some yelling. A lot of
Footage
drinking.
it didn't happen, Nick. I need some footage. I need to see that
That's
footwork.
that'll be on my phone and on my phone only.
It's got to make it to the timeline, Nick.
They
It's
will
the only
not
way
make
we
it to
know.
the timeline. Nope, never happened then. I'm fine with that.
So the best white footwork is still Dan Thompson.
Oh,
I can
yes.
see it.
Yeah, no, I was not entering that competition.
So
They
congratulations.
have the title.
It's
So
a
Nick-
tough competition because Dan bring the heat.
He does.
Yeah. With no shame. No shame in my game.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Johnsons. I gave a speech. I think it went well.
Did you tell some jokes or?
It was more of like the roast of my friend
Okay.
at his wedding.
That's the
With
safe
some
route.
nice, with some nice things said to the bride, to the families. But yeah, got up there. The maid of honor went right before me, and she was very nice. So I immediately get the mic, and I'm like, "Hey, Kyle, that is not how this speech is going to go. Just so you know." She said some really nice things, and I don't have any of that written down.
There you go. Do you guys prefer, Nick? Obviously, you did the roast type. Silk, when you go to a wedding and you hear a best man speech, do you prefer the more heartfelt, maybe the more comedic one, or do you prefer the more roast type?
If I gotta go more heartfelt, you know, you just gotta be a good. I would like from writing it to be a happy medium, right? You want to make laugh and get some heartfelt, a little mixture of both.
Right.
But if I gotta lean one towards the other, more heartfelt, I won't make anybody the butt of the jokes at their big day. So this is a good. I'm sure Nick's savvy with words, so he did his thing.
Oh, yeah.
I feel more pressure. A professional internet essay writer was asked to write a
Right.
speech. I felt some pressure.
Famous podcast.
It's a semi-famous podcaster.
Right.
Met a couple
Should have been a layup drill for you, fam.
met a couple Stadium and Gale listeners at the wedding. Had some people come up and say they love the pod. So shout out to them. There was a bunch of Florida graduates at the wedding. So
Nice.
we had some listeners there.
I love it. Well, my voice is out for a different reason. I was at a golf tournament this weekend, which I know sounds like a place that you shouldn't lose your voice at. But my company sponsors a golfer on the Corn Ferry Tour, which is the one right below the PGA Tour. And he comes down to the LECOM tournament down in Bradenton every year, and he knows that we're going to bring the heat. So we had to bring it loud this year. Shout out to Dawson Armstrong. I think he finished 22nd overall, just a couple shots off the lead. Shout out to the poor guy that was in first place too, that four putted hole 18 to not only not win, but to come in I think a 13th place finish. So unfortunate for him, but great time, great energy. Shout out to Dawson. Hopefully I don't see you there next year. So hopefully we'll see you at the PGA Tour events next year.
Nice.
So what'd you get into?
Not a whole lot for me this weekend, man. Just track practice, shout out to the coach. He's making kids cry, quit, all that good stuff. So that was fun, man. Just track practice, soccer, just dad stuff, man. They had a 3-day weekend, so I thought I was going to be able to chill today and relax, but it became more work than a normal Monday dealing with these two. But just chill, man. Chill vibes.
So I didn't know much about track at that age. Do they run a lot of different events? Do they have them specialize in different things, or what are the events that Junior's running?
He wants just to run the 100 and 200, but after going out there, they want them to all do 3 events, at least 3. So I'm not gonna let him long jump since they want him to run three races. So he's doing 400, 100, and 200. He's starting to like the 400 more. He used to hate it, but I think like he's got a nice little timing on that for like his age. I think he's very good at like these little kids his age gas out early. It's 1 full lap, so they jump out the blocks and start sprinting. And he has a concept of timing his energy and his burst for that last runway pretty good. So now 400
is like more strategy too. I mean, obviously everyone's fast, but like you said, especially at that age, the kids, the 100 is just, hey, run as fast as you can, real quick. Yeah. The 200, I mean, you have one turn, but the 400, that's like a whole different strategery that you got to have.
And that's what he liked, because he already know just from watching me watch it during the Olympics. That's my favorite race to watch. So he already had the concept of. So he starts to laugh in his head a little bit while he's running, watching these kids just gas themselves out. And that's the fun part he likes about it. But he in his group, his age group, he's like first in as far as time wise in every group he's in. But his favorite race is the 400 right now.
I know this will surprise many of you, but I ran the 400 in middle school.
Oh, okay.
I was terrible.
Oh, you had
no. I was on the I was in the B race, right? I didn't make the A race even. I was in the 400 B race. A consistent 4th to 7th place finisher. I think I placed 3rd just once. My time could have been taken on a sundial. But
you say 4th because nobody keeps a track after 3rd. That's why you
say yeah. That's why I can't lie.
Yeah.
Right. I think one time I even finished in last place, but like I said, I know it's a surprise to you that I'm not an athletic specimen and everything, but that 400 race is brutal.
I'm glad I never finished dead last in a race, man. That's got to be like devastating.
Yeah, it was. So that's when I learned that I probably wouldn't be making the Olympic team.
Was that your last race? Because I think if I finished dead last, that would be my last official race.
Oh, you know what, Nick? So everybody in middle school like runs districts, right, to like qualify for the next level. I'm pretty sure my last race, I did not come in last place because some kid double DQ'd before me, but I'm pretty sure I finished whatever the last runner was in district. So
I used to fake cramps, man, so I didn't have to run the 400.
I can see that. Spencer was a distance runner. So I wonder what he's doing the 400, and I'm sure Junior would still beat him, but yeah, that 400 race is for the birds.
It's that tweener, man. It could be it's like a tween between sprint and distance. Not distance, and it's also not a sprint. So, shout out to Michael Johnson. That's who made me fall in love with the 400. That was a killer with the 400, man.
Gold shoes, man.
Man, you remember them gold shoes?
I do.
All right, let's get into some Stadium Miguel, some shenanigans.
Well, let's get into it. As always, this episode of Stadium Miguel is sponsored by our friend Alan Horn with Alan Horn Insurance over in Georgia. But don't fret. If you are in the state of Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, or Georgia, you too can take advantage of the great rates that State Farm can provide by Alan Horn. Give Alan a call at 706-692-2888. or visit him at allenhorninsurance.com. That's renters, life, car, boat, motorhome, RV, whatever the case may be. Give Alan Horn a call, and his team will offer you premium service. 706-692-2888 or Alan Horn, that's Horne with the E at the end, insurance.com. Well, boys, I'm excited.
I gotta holler at Allen.
Kelly. You do.
I gotta holler at Allen. I do gotta holler at Allen. I need some insurance.
He's got some great people that work there. Just very knowledgeable, timely, get you stuff right after they say they will. So give a shout out to Allen Horn Insurance. If anything, just shop around. It's free to get a quote. So visit him at Allen Horn. So I know he would love
I ain't mean to make you do another ad read, bro. My bad.
No, you're good. Hey, shout out to Allen. Appreciate him. It keeps this pod going. Well, I'm excited. We've got Rae Finley, the women's basketball coach, joining us in a little bit. But before we do that, the Gators men's basketball team pulls off a victory, one that I was told on the internet to give a shout out to Nick for calling. I don't know what made Nick call this, other than potentially being contrarian and different than the rest of us that think the men's basketball program needs a change.
If he was wrong, nobody would have cared. So that's why it's not really a bold take.
That's right.
That's right. Wildly bold take. Only two other teams have beat Auburn this year.
C-Rob thought he had one, though. Shout out to C-Rob, man.
Bro, this is what Mike White does. They beat number 1 Tennessee last year. They win games that nobody gives them a chance to late in the year. You put a feather in your cap because it's a great win.
Made it sound like a Cinderella team, bro.
They're one of the first 4 out right now. That's they're starting to look like Cinderella.
Nice 1 seed in the NIT coming our way.
Woo! NIT champions. Mike White extension.
I can see it. But the Gators do pull off a victory. No slight to them. Big victory over Auburn. Like Nick said, Auburn had only lost twice before. They sitting 24-2, number 2 in the country. The Gators pull off a 63-62 victory. Almost squandered it there at the end, but did a great job of closing them out. Overall, great team performance. Colin Castleton, 19 points. Tyree Appleby went off with 26 points. The rest of the team just played well, was able to hold Alabama to not get a final shot off when they had the ball with about 4 seconds left in the game. Game was over. Gators fan base storms the court in a very unconvincing fashion. Today, the SEC announced that the Gators will be fined $50,000, so probably about $1,000 per person that did storm the court. But it did bring up a topic of conversation, I think one where I'll probably disagree with both of you. But the conversation after the game was, should the Gators be storming the court, and should the Gator fan base be storming the court? Silk, what are your thoughts? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. It wasn't even a full-fledged storm the court. Like, some of the fans probably like, I don't think we should be doing this, what it looked like. No, we shouldn't be storming the court. We got 2 national championships in the building, man. We're a legitimate basketball program. It's not our tradition. A lot of times storming court is a traditional thing. It's just not something we do at the University of Florida. So I don't fire Mike White, man. Gotta get him out of here. We storming courts, man.
It's changed. Nick, what are your thoughts?
I didn't like it because it was weak. Like you said, it probably would have been cheaper to give everyone that got on the court $1,000 instead of paying the fine. So here's $1,000. Don't go on the court. But then, probably not a popular subject, but like watching the field at Kroger Field get stormed when Kentucky beat Florida. That looks super dope because the entire stadium got down onto the field.
Right.
I love a good court storming. If you want to do it, have fun. I get why the SEC doesn't like it. You could get some really bad situations with students talking crap to they don't realize how big like a linebacker is, and you say the wrong thing to a linebacker, and all of a sudden you're catching hands. And you don't need that happening after the game. And
or you say it to Juwan Howard.
Don't say it to Juwan. Don't say it to NBA Finals champion Miami Heat. Juwan Howard.
You can't grab Juwan Howard. I think, man. I think that they've had interactions all season. They lost to each other before, and like they've had this. But I think that the only difference was the Bush League timeout, and then the grabbing or whatever. But everybody's grown in that situation. But we'll get back to our shenanigans. What we got?
I think my take is I've seen a lot of programs storm the court. I saw UNC storm the court a few years ago. I've seen a number of teams storm the court. I respect Florida's basketball tradition. tradition, but I think it's cool when the fan base gets engaged. A lot of these kids, that did storm the court were, 1, 2, 3 years old, when the Gators did win those national championships. So, I'm here for excitement. It's obviously been an up and down, probably a couple of years that they've been in college. So I'm here for the support. I completely understand the safety reasons behind it. But, I also heard that security did a pretty good job of trying to stop the kids from storming the court after, the 40, 50 or so made it onto the court. I'm not against it. I think that Florida basketball, has a rich tradition over the last 20 years or so, but, I think that it could bring some excitement, some energy to a group of student athletes and to a fan base that probably desperately needs some excitement and some energy behind it. So I wasn't against it.
Get a new coach to do that. That gets smart.
Well, we talk a little bit more, but before we do that, I do want to bring on Florida Gators women's basketball coach. She's just having a fantastic season this year. Kelly Rae Finley. Kelly, we appreciate you coming on and joining us. You've been one of the most recommended guests for us, so we appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you guys for having me. It's fun to listen to your conversation about storming the court. I don't know. Okay.
What are your thoughts?
What's your opinion?
What are my thoughts on storming the court?
I don't want to come off as the Grinch either. I'm just like,
I was going to say, Corey, listen, we don't know each other, but it's like you fire Mike White, this, that, whatever. Look, come on.
I get
Those
bad.
are the same people that love you, they love to hate you, but that's the business we're in, isn't it?
Corey, big hater.
You have to listen to a lot of the shows to get me and Mike White's relationship on here, man. So.
Okay, well, listen, as we get to know each other, I don't claim to know things I just don't know, okay? So
all right,
that's where we're at. I don't have a real strong opinion about storming the court, but I was excited to see the men win. That was a big win for us, and that was really cool.
Absolutely.
I love it.
How much, before we get into your team, how much do you guys interact? I know you have the same practice court. You're in that kind of same building. How much do you guys see the men's team and do the players interact and things like that?
Oh, quite a bit. That's a great question, Nick. It's really fun. It's unique because we share a practice complex, but we each have our own court, which is we're very, very fortunate to have the facility to do that. But we share a training room. And all that good stuff in a weight room. And so it's nice to see our student athletes be able to be close. They root for each other. They go to each other's games when we can. Unfortunately, we were traveling when they played Auburn the other day. But we'll stop on the bus. And sorry, my voice is a little gone. It was loud last night at LSU. But yeah, no, and our coaching staffs are close. They're great guys. And, we love to bounce ideas off of each other. And it's just a really cool environment.
Kelly, I want to get into the Gator season. You take over as head coach, start the season 10-3. A lot of excitement around the program. Always love when we can beat FSU. Then in SEC play, you guys really turned it on, beating number 25 Texas A&M, number 23 Kentucky, number 11 LSU. Hard-fought battle against South Carolina, and then rattle off, wins against Tennessee and Georgia, Mississippi State, Auburn, a number of other programs. What is it about this team this year? You guys have, lost, some players. You've had some injuries. You had a transfer. What is it about this team that's allowed them to put together one of the best women's basketball seasons, in UF history?
I think it's their buy-in. They're just a really fun group to coach. I was talking to Tamika Catchings the other day. She did our broadcast last night, and when you've been around really electric teams, it's like you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, right? Sometimes. And this team just makes it fun. They rarely have a bad day, so to speak. They always compete hard in practice. I can tell you on one hand, the number of bad practices that we've had. The effort is always there, and it makes it easy to coach them because they are eager to learn. And when you have that, they want to grow and they want to be good learners. And when you have that, you have the opportunity to do something pretty special.
I love it. So I want to ask about some of the leadership on the team. Obviously, you've got a team that dealt with an injury to one of the more prominent names, Lavender Briggs. Your team has bounced back pretty well. Obviously, it's a testament to you and your coaching and buy-in, but also some of the leadership on your team. Who are the leaders that have been stepping up on this team? And did you know that they would be the leaders before the season started, or did they just start to rise as the season went on?
Yeah, a really other unique thing about our team is it's somebody different every day. Their ability to be selfless is remarkable. But I would say, Kiki Smith is the engine that makes us go on both ends of the floor. She's tremendous. If you guys have had the opportunity to watch her, she's she might be a once in a lifetime kind of player. She never has a bad day. She sets the tone. You ask her, how do you feel, today after getting injured last night? How do you feel? Or how's your body? Great. I can go. Do you need me to go? You're like, nah, but like, you're not. It's okay. Her mindset is everything to this team. And then Zippy Broughton, she's a transfer who's brought, a lot of experience to the floor. Just a steadfastness in how she approaches things in her preparation. But Manu and Christina, they also have a selflessness and a willing to do whatever it takes in order to help us win. And when you have that mindset and that approach, I think that's what makes us a little bit difficult to scout. Kiki is steadfast in that role. And then, we have 4 post players that anyone at any time can come in and produce in whatever minutes or whatever opportunity they have. And so it's really fun to coach an Eagle-less team. And I think that's what makes us different.
I do want to ask, because you mentioned about Kiki Smith's injuries. Do you have an update on that? I know some people saw her take a hard fall yesterday against LSU. How's she doing?
Yeah, she says she's doing great. But you know what? I'll tell you this. She's never said she's not doing great. So
she says she's great. You're like, all right, let's get on the baseline. Let's start running. Actually, Coach, I don't know.
No. And she could be like, all right, fine. That's not the problem.
That's why she's a Division I athlete, and I'm doing a podcast with you.
That's right.
Exactly.
That would not be me.
Is she your go-to player in like clutch situations?
It depends what the matchup is. So we really try to expose places where we feel like we have advantages. We felt like one of their players was a weaker defender last night, trying to get those switches, and that's what we try to do every night. And so we feel like all of our guards can score. Our 4s have been real difference makers for us in terms of the versatility. Against Auburn and Mississippi State, we really had to go to them a lot inside. They had a size advantage, whereas our opponent maybe had a speed advantage. And so just depends the opponent and the situation. But yeah, we count on her in big moments. The other person is Zippy Broughton for sure. I think she's hit some, she missed that shot last night, and we told her we'll take it 100 times out of 100. We'll take that shot. Thought it was straight on. I actually thought it was going to be in. It looked good from where I was standing. And, but there's about 70 possessions in a game. It's not one possession that wins or loses you a game, right?
Right, for sure. How do you move on from a loss like that, the close L's?
Oh man, that game makes us better. I think that makes us better in so many different ways. I think we've grown every time. A lot of people have said, "Oh, that George Mason loss," not to bring it up. Kiki would tell you, "Don't bring that up." But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know if we would have found the success that we found early on in the non-conference had we won that game. We were tired. We'd been on the road for about 2 weeks straight. And we needed that. We needed to learn how to control our mental game. We needed to learn how to perform. We needed to learn how to prepare, all those things. We weren't ready for that stuff yet. And I think we're much more prepared. And so last night made us better. I mean, not many people have the opportunity to play against sellout crowds, right, in a top 20 matchup. So I know that makes us better.
It's almost cliche or coach speech, but you hear a lot. You learn way more about yourself in a loss than in a win. And sometimes a win in a game that maybe you didn't deserve to win can kind of gloss over or make you not look at yourself deeper or feel, hey, these are areas we need to fix because, we won the game. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this group is unique, like I told you guys, in that we try to really focus on 3 things after every game, no matter if we win or lose. Here's where our weaknesses were, and then here's where our advantages are against our opponent. Here's where the gap is, and here's where we need to minimize that gap as much as we can before we play next time. And so we'll see that against Vandy coming up here on Thursday. They're a tough team. We have to be ready to play against zone and against the press. but they're athletic, much similar to Mississippi State or an Auburn, so they pose a much different challenge than LSU.
Kelly, how do you tournament is so you want to peak at the right time. So how do you keep the team from peaking too early or peaking right at tournament time?
Oh, I think keep it fun, keep them hungry. This group really enjoys playing together, so just reminding them of those little things, reminding them of like, enjoy this memory, enjoy this moment, memorize the experience, all of those little things they do really well with. But we've worked hard this season to keep the joy that comes from playing. I think when we all played, I don't know if you guys played, but you start playing because it's a sport and it is fun, right? And so when that's the case, you tend to want to do it more, right?
Yeah.
And that's really where we've kept our focus.
Kelly, I want to go all the way back. So you graduated, pardon me, from Colorado State. Then you head up to Harvard as a volunteer assistant coach, and then you're brought onto the staff. When you were playing at Colorado State, did you know that you would be a head coach or be a coach, pardon me? Is that always what your ambition was, or did you kind of fall into it, or tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, that was a crazy story. I actually didn't want to coach at all. It was like the furthest thing. I actually broke my leg in college and, went from being really highly recruited to really unimportant really fast. And that was hard to learn. That wasn't a great feeling at 19 years old. I think I was 19 at the time. But long story short, Dan, I went to Boston to watch my brother play ice hockey and ended up meeting with the coach who had recruited me out of high school there. I just thought that she embodied everything that seemed to be right about sport. And she asked me like 10 minutes into meeting with her, "Hey, how'd you find out about the job?" And I was like, "What job? What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I just took the job posting down, volunteer assistant in the Ivy League as a full-time position, but we can't pay you." So here's me on the phone leaving. I'm like, "Hey, Dad," my dad was a high school coach. I'm like, "Dad, Kathy Delaney Smith offered me a job, but it doesn't pay anything. So he's all, I'll ship you your stuff. You're staying." And I'm like, wait a second, hold up. So that's kind of how it all started. And I was really fortunate. But I felt like I learned everything that's right about sport. And she taught me a lot. And she's retiring after this season in her 40th year.
Wow. That's incredible.
So would you say it's almost you saw one end of it and then quickly after that, kind of saying how, hey, I was discarded just because of an injury. And then you saw someone who had made an impact on you and thought maybe I can be that for somebody else?
Yeah, I found a real joy around it. I thought that Kathy taught her young women, her student athletes, to be strong and courageous, to be caring and compassionate. I think, growing up as a young woman, you want to be all things, right? I'm a girl. I've never been a boy. I don't know what it's like for you three fellas, but it's hard as a young woman to be strong and competitive and fierce, and your sport wants to make you so tough and rough, and you want to tap into that side, but then you also want to be, there's, a nurturing side to you and a loving side and a compassionate side. And I just felt like she really showed our student athletes that they could be all of those things. And so we talk here about, how do I be me and do so with more skill? So, it's not about changing who you are. We really want to embrace who you are as a person, and what's right for one isn't necessarily right for another. And that's okay. And that's what we see in the transfer portal these days, and it doesn't always have to be personal, but she definitely taught me those things early on.
That's awesome.
You got to be a great recruiter, Kelly.
What? Come on. I need to know. Okay, so Corey, I can't lie to you. Where's this nickname Silk come from?
No, man, it's gonna be befitting. I give you the explanation.
Okay.
Silky Johnson is a character on Dave Chappelle's one of his skits, and he's the biggest hater ever. So he won the player hater ball.
I love it. Okay, I got it.
My friends started calling me that because I used to hate on all the Miami Heat. I live in South Florida. I used to hate on the Miami Heat real heavy, so they used to start calling me Silky Johnson.
Okay, I got you.
It's starting to make sense.
Right.
It's all coming together now. Like I told you guys, I don't pretend to know things I just don't know. I just ask the question.
I love it.
Ask the question, now you know. Big hitter, top left of the screen right there.
Left big hitter. Got
Misunderstood. Misunderstood. That's all.
Silk, you make a great point. Kelly, when you were at Harvard, I'm reading here that you signed the first ever McDonald's All-American to the Ivy League. And then just looking down, the list of folks that you were able to land. Obviously, coaching the Ivy League is very different than coaching, in the SEC or the Pac-12 just because of academic, rigors and everything else. Do you feel like that helps shape, some of your abilities or how was the transition from the Ivy League, to I'm sorry, where'd you go after?
I went to Colorado from there.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I think you got really thoughtful questions in. Mm-hmm. It was hard for me at first. It was really hard. I didn't, I wasn't ready. I'll never forget. I supervised a study hall session, and I remember calling our other assistant coach and going, "Oh my gosh, she wants me to kick her out. I know I can't kick her out. Help me." Like what? It was really different, but every student athlete has motivation and drive to be great. That's why they've gotten where they are. And so it's more to me, learning what motivates people, making connections for people, helping them find what their real passion is, and then showing them, hey, if you do this, then you can do this, or if you don't do this, and behind every feeling, and we talk about this a lot in our program, behind every feeling, there's a choice. So, everybody feels tired. Okay, great. Congratulations. We all feel tired. Okay. Well, you have the same choice that I have, so if I choose to get into the gym and put up shots, then I'm choosing to better myself. If I choose to lay in the bed, but maybe that's what I need. But what's right for one isn't necessarily right for another. And so I say all that to say that it was hard for me at first, but I know that it's made me a better coach. And every place that I've gone to has been really intentional in terms of the things that I've learned and where I've grown, which has made me better prepared.
What was the jump like coming to Florida? And obviously there wasn't a long history, but getting in the SEC and certainly the SEC with the programs that Pat built at Tennessee, what's happening with South Carolina, was it a big jump for you? What was it like when you joined the staff here and came to Florida?
So I grew up in Minnesota, and I just felt like going to play college I was really fortunate. My dad coached some really talented players, and I just grew up and thought everybody goes to college and plays basketball. Like quickly learned that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But growing up in Big Ten country, I didn't really realize how big the SEC was. And then, being more familiar with the Pac-12, I wanted to, having worked at Harvard first, I wanted to be able to recruit the world. And it gave me a really big global perspective on how to recruit. And being at Harvard, I felt like I could recruit anywhere. So I wasn't tied to a region. And so I wasn't as much aware of that as I was, oh, this is a really good player. Let's just go recruit her. Oh, let me get to know her. If there's a connection, great. And if not, but I also had to learn that, you need to talk to parents and you need to understand value systems, because in the Ivy League, you can't sell a kid a dream when the parents have to pay. And you don't want to put a parent in a position to say, hey, I know this is your dream, but I can't afford for you to go there. That's just not right. And so that was something that I learned early on. But Nick, to answer your question, it was just another job. It was an opportunity to go coach in the SEC, a different league, to broaden my horizons, my, recruiting space. And I felt like Florida was a tremendous opportunity to go back to high academic university at the highest level. And that really aligns with me and who I am. And, you can get behind that in a lot of different ways.
And then and then everything that happened in the off season, you get named interim head coach. How prepared do you think you were to run a program?
Oh, I think I was really prepared. I think, a lot of people talk about, well, 6 inches over, this, that, whatever. I don't know. It's just, it's more about who you are and how you do things, how you lead people, how you connect people, relationships, than it is anything. I think it has to be centered on respect and honesty. We work a lot on that in our program, and anybody who knows me would say that that's probably the case. And so I don't know. I wish I could give you a better answer. Like, oh, it's so hard, and whatever. But it's been more fun and more just really inspired by our student athletes and the choices that they've made every day.
Well, I don't think
I told them the other day, Nick, not to cut you off, but I told them, thank you for making this such a great experience for me, because they didn't have to do that. They definitely don't have to do that, and they've chosen to do that every day, and for that, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great question, maybe one that had to be asked, but just watching the season and how they've looked, I think the answer is clear that you were clearly prepared for it. And then the women that you're coaching have responded to you and are having fun and playing really well.
Thank you.
Who did you grow up? A coach? Give me a coach that you didn't play with or don't have a personal relationship with. Who was your idol growing up?
I didn't really idolize any coaches. I just kind of again, because my dad coached, it was like, we just go to the gym and we work, and this is what we do. I will say this, my grandfather played college basketball at Iowa, University of Iowa.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks. Oh my gosh, they thought there's no other university in the world.
Yeah, I know. I lived in Iowa City for 2 years. You'd have thought that was the epicenter of
exactly.
of all college athletics.
Right. Like, he passed away when I was in 5th grade, and we spent a lot of time in the car driving and, this, that, whatever. But in terms of, who did you look up to? I just really wanted to be like the big girls on the team. I was told this story the other day. My mom has a little notebook, and I have a sister who has special needs. And long story short, I wrote about how much I love her, right? And how much I loved being the water girl on the bench, because I got to be part of the team. And so I think that, just when I look back and how to shape my mentality towards being a great teammate first, that was a huge part of it.
Kelly, I want to ask about kind of moving forward, with the team. You guys obviously are, I know Silk, talked a little bit about, trying to hit your stride at the right time. You guys are entering your final 2 SEC games before the SEC tournament and then the NCAA tournament. Where do you guys go from here in terms of coaching and building and developing? And, I think this is going to be the first NCAA tournament for all of these, all of the players that went to UF or that are at UF now. Maybe missing 1 or 2 that transferred, but getting them used to that stage of just continuing to live in the moment and not get the moment get too big.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was a big day for us in terms of that. I thought that, we're going to focus on playing Vanderbilt in a couple days here. They're a very talented team, and we're going to prepare as such. We've felt like all season we're competing best against ourselves to challenge ourselves to see how good can we really get. You guys saw Faith hit a 3 last night. That was huge. She's been working on that all season. It was not just a fluke.
I saw she's shooting 100% on the season. Not a big deal.
Yeah. That was her first attempt, but she's been working on it in the gym. I see her do it every day. And so it wasn't a surprise. And so I think just continuing to have that mindset, continuing to have fun, but like you said, Dan, don't let the stage be big. Don't let the moment be bigger than it is. Last night was really fun. Like I said to you guys earlier, I asked them who's played in a top 20 matchup in a sold out arena on the road before. Nobody raised their hand. Okay. Now you've done it, and so, just trying to build off of that every day.
I love it.
Nashville, where the tournament is, my favorite SEC town.
Oh, okay.
Dan's as well. We haven't taken Silk there yet. We're trying to we're trying to figure out how to take him out to the honky tonks there on Broadway and around the city.
Come on, Silk. This might be your year, SEC tournament. Let's do it.
We need to get Stadium and DeGale credentialed for the SEC tournament, and we'll send Silk up there.
All right, we got you. Come on. Let's make it happen. He's pretending like he can't hear us. So
Now he's like, oh, what's happening here?
What?
I have a question. It's something that I saw happened maybe a week or two ago. It involved Sydney Carter and kind of the way some of her outfits. And I just wanted to ask you, as a woman and as a coach, I didn't understand why anyone was commenting on what she was wearing on the sideline. Other than, I think it's really impressive that you can coach and walk up and down in heels like that. That was really impressive to me because I would just fall over. But why do you think that is, that a man or somebody felt the need to comment on what a woman who in a professional setting, dressed professionally, doing her job, is wearing?
Mm.
Why do I think they have the need for that? I don't know. People are people, right?
Yeah.
So, everybody's got something to say. And I think it is what it is. I thought she said it perfectly. Do you have anything to say? Nope. I am who I am. But I think it goes back to allowing people to be who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this day and age, you see that more and more, and we want to celebrate the uniqueness of the individual within the team context. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think that, somebody asked me, could you walk around in heels like that? I'm like, that's not my strength. Okay. Know your strengths and weaknesses. I like my ones, my one lows and highs. They're all flat. That's kind of my thing. They broke me out, put me in some threes. I don't know, but I'll stick with the J's. But I think it's fabulous.
That's a strong flex there for you, Kelly. That's a strong flex. I'll stick with my J's. Okay. Must be nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. I'm blessed. Okay. I'm very, very blessed, and I know that.
Kelly, I do want to ask, kind of the obvious question. Has there been a huge groundswell of support behind you in this Gators women's basketball program in your interim title? I just want to let you know, we're not going to ask you about, what those conversations look like, but we do want you to know that we continue to see a huge groundswell of support for you. And as somebody that's watched the Gators my entire life, was there from 2006 to 2010, I don't think that I've ever seen the love and support from the fan base behind women's basketball. So you've built a great thing, and I know a lot of people would be excited to see that coming.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You don't have to say it. Well, the podcast will keep saying it for you.
Oh, you guys are sweet. I really appreciate it. And I will say, like I told our student athletes the other day, they've earned this opportunity. I'm really proud of them. I'm inspired by them every day. They make it easy. And what's unique in college basketball is every year, every 9 months, really, your team is different. Right. And so you have to rebuild the leadership. You have to do team building and those kinds of things. And I've been very fortunate to know these young women for a long time, individually and then collectively. It makes my job a lot easier. And I'm just grateful for them in this season of life.
It seems like, do you get the time to kind of sit back and enjoy it or relish it? Or are you just, like you said, like, coming off a loss, we have to get ready for Vanderbilt, and after that, there's another game and then the tournament, and then
that's the season. Come on.
But do you get a chance? I mean, it's your first year as a head coach, a great group of women. Do you get a chance to kind of like sit back and kind of enjoy it, or does that not happen until after the last game?
I think it's just kind of you do what you do. That's how I was raised. It's not that we're not enjoying the moments. I think we really are. I think. It's been cool to see, Alberta Rimdahl is one of our freshmen, and she was National Freshman of the Week. She was SEC Freshman of the Week, and she brought donuts for the rest of the team. Kiki, just to understand, that, hey, I couldn't have done this without all of you. This is a real team celebration. So we do little things like that. In terms of me, I really love to take my time in May every year, no matter what, no matter what the season held. I know we did our best and worked our hardest, and then take a little bit of time off if that's a thing. I don't know. And get a little vacation in then. But it's been great throughout the entire season for sure this year.
Kelly, I got one final question, just out of pure ignorance more than anything. Obviously, we hear a lot about the transfer portal in football and in men's basketball, just because those names are talked about a lot from a recruiting perspective. And what's the transfer portal like? I know that, you guys have a number of transfer portal players on your team right now, but what's that like, in women's basketball?
It's pretty crazy. I'd say it's more similar than it is different. Probably more similar to men's basketball and football. I think that you'll see it become more and more popular, which is why, our staff's philosophy is, we would really like to know them before. So we really are going to continue to recruit high school as best we can and build and develop those relationships from an early age, just because, it's a people business. And we can't be here without our student athletes, and we understand that. And just trying to build those and foster those relationships so that later on down the line, you have something to look back on, right? And there's a lot of trust that's built in those moments. That's why Zippy Broughton is with us now, because sometimes you change your mind. Sometimes something you thought worked out wouldn't, and it doesn't always have to be this big drama, right? It can just be really simple. I thought this was a great fit for me. It wasn't. Let me try something different. And so, it's a big deal. And I think it will continue to be so.
I love it. Corey, Nick, any more questions?
No. Super impressive, Kelly. Enjoy the conversation.
Silk, you didn't hear, but if we get you credentials, you're flying to Nashville for the tournament. Did you hear that?
Oh, most definitely. I've been trying to get to Nashville. The pandemic stopped my Nashville
Nick
visit.
said you've never been there to Broadway and all that good stuff. He was going to show you around.
Oh, already. I'm there.
Already.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kelly. We'll talk to you soon.
And best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Kelly Rae Finley, really impressive coach. Very excited to have her on the program. And
I thought she was coming into a gauntlet. I'm on here talking about fire Mike White and stuff.
Yeah. She had to have her guard up at the beginning, huh?
I think sitting in the waiting room.
You forget that the people in the green room can hear you there, buddy.
Right.
Oh man,
she bumps into Mike every day at the same facility. She see him tomorrow. She goes, "Hey, Corey wants you fired."
Good win, Mike. If you're listening, if you haven't turned off yet,
we got to ask Kelly to see if she can convince Mike to come on the show.
I don't think so.
No,
I think we're going to continue to shoot over there. But congratulations to the women's basketball program. Got 2 more games, like we said, before the SEC tournament. So we're going to be rooting for them and hope for the best for all of them. Before we move on, a lot more to talk about. Before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. Visit them, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM, get 10% off your order. Best vacuum seal cups on the market. Beautiful designs, last forever. So really, really impressive product. Visit them, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Promo code STADIUM at checkout. 350 plus colleges and universities on there. A bunch of other products on there for players, NASCAR, golf, etc. So visit them, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Promo code STADIUM. I think we've covered basketball. Nick, the Gators baseball season starts off this season with a win to start the year, and then 2 losses to Liberty back to back to go 1-2 in their opening series. What went well to start the series, and then what collapsed on the back end?
Yeah, I think in talking to Kevin O'Sullivan, it started. I said, "What do you guys need to be in February to be good?" And it started with, he said, "Barco needs to be Barco." He was kind of consistently inconsistent as a sophomore. Was really, really good with Team USA over the summer, and absolutely shoved on Friday night. 11 strikeouts, set a new career record, career high for him. Sterling Thompson had 2 massive home runs to dead center. Career night for total bases and RBIs for him. And it's going to be this first month of the season, as every season is, a lot of learning experience. For lack of a better phrase, you kind of, as a manager, give guys enough rope to hang themselves, and you give them opportunities and chances, and they either make the most of them or they don't. And you're trying to get a core group of players in the bullpen and starters that, okay, the first month we're playing Miami and Florida State and all these out-of-conference games. In March, the SEC season starts, the end of March. Who is going to be the guys that we go to in the 6th, 7th inning out of the bullpen? And you're going to go through some learning curves and some road bumps, especially when you look at the amount of freshman arms that Florida is bringing out of the bullpen. So you're going to get guys who I think Phillip Abner is going to be really good. He got roughed up a little bit. Ryan Slater's the guy that they're going to be going to at the back end of the bullpen, for a while. But I think, when you look at Phillip Abner, he's 2 appearances out of the bullpen. He's got a 10.8 ERA, a 4.2 whip. Gave up 4 walks. That's not him. I think that might just be, first time pitching in front of 6,000 people. Great crowds this weekend, which I was excited to see.
Set the record, right?
You ain't been lying to us, have you?
I haven't been lying. I said, listen, I don't know what the weekend rotation is going to look like. And Timmy Manning was not great on Saturday. I caught a little bit of that game. Pierce Capalla, wrote about him a bunch. He looked really good. I think maybe ran out of gas a little bit in his first start, but struck out 7 in his first collegiate start. He's going to be really good. Florida's going to have to find some answers, and I think also they're going to have to tinker with the lineup a little bit. When you look at Kendrick Callaway and Chris Armstrong hitting right in the middle of the lineup, I think they went a combined 1 for 23. That's a killer in the middle of your lineup. Guys hitting 5th and 6th. Josh Rivera really struggled, I think, until Sunday. He had a double and an RBI, or 2 hits on Sunday and an RBI. He's a guy that I don't know that he should be hitting 5th for Florida. You're gonna have this first month, you're gonna have to tinker with the lineup and find where you should be hitting guys. I do really like that top of the order with Colby Halter hitting 1st, Judd Fabian hitting 2nd, and Sterling Thompson. You got to find somebody to protect Sterling Thompson. So you need to find, a 4-hole hitter that teams can't start pitching away or around from Sterling, because that happened to Judd last year without having anyone really to protect him behind the lineup. And when I say that, I mean now guys are not going to be getting great pitches to hit because, hey, it's fine if we walk him. They don't have someone behind him who's going to do damage. So Judd should be getting more pitches to hit because you don't want to put him on base and have Sterling up. So finding someone to protect Sterling in the lineup, I think, is going to be, a huge thing that Florida needs to figure out this next month.
Yeah, it's tough.
We're figuring out a lot, it sounds like, Nick. Like, we're figuring out the bullpen. We're figuring out the lineup. What is your overall opinion right now and vibes around the baseball team?
I think they're going to hit. And Sterling Thompson, like I said, he wasn't on many preseason lists, but I think he'll be on a lot of postseason lists. You got a bunch of catchers. I think BT, Bradley, Riopel. I think he hit about 3 balls for home runs foul and then straightened one out, hit a home run. Yeah. He's a guy that I think that'll play a bunch. Matt Cassetti's another guy I think that's going to play a bunch. Like Judd Fabian didn't have a good weekend. He's going to be an all SEC type player. He's coming off a season where he hit 20 home runs. Strikeouts are still going to be a thing. He struck out 3 times. His brother Derrick struck out 4 times. Chris Armstrong struck out a bunch. Kendrick Callaway struck out 5 times. So that might just be baseball. Like Florida's going to be able to hit. There's going to be a bunch of strikeouts, but they have power.
How would you change up the lineup? You say you would shift some things at 5th and 6th.
I like those top 3. I think Wyatt Langford might be a guy that I would put in the 4-hole right now and drop Josh Rivera down. Maybe move Derek Fabian up from 8th. And until Kendrick Callaway and Chris Armstrong, those are guys that are going to play. Kenny was 0 for 11 and Chris was 1 for 12. you're going to have to just let them battle through it. And if they're still hitting, under their weight by the time, the middle of March rolls around, then you get some freshmen and move some other people in there. But those are guys like, there's guys that if your team is going to be as good as you think they can be, Chris Armstrong has to hit. Kendrick Callaway has to hit. Judd Fabian has to hit. So it's early on in the season. You're not going to move Judd down, but I think you move Chris down, move Kendrick down, move Josh down, and start sliding guys up.
Yeah, they have as many batters batting below 100 as they do batting above 300 right now. So struggled, in the bullpen, struggled striking out. A lot of strikeouts looking. Don't have that number off the top of my head, but just not a great start to the season. Obviously, a very talented team, is recruited very well. Gets Judd Fabian back, who they thought was going to leave to the major leagues this year. So definitely a lot riding on this season. I know a lot of fans were there in support to cheer them on, and I know a lot of folks are hoping for the turnaround. Nick, do you think they have the talent to turn it around? Obviously, you can't judge a lot of the first series, but
we got to figure this out. I won't go to a game. I'm gonna check out the new park. Give me the heads up on a good game, Nick.
FSU would be a good game. Let me pull the schedule up right quick. FSU comes here first because they do one in Jacksonville, one in Tallahassee.
I know Dan's not going to the one in Jacksonville.
Love Jacksonville.
So, but the only thing with FSU is that those are all midweek games. So you have to come up on a Tuesday. That's March 15th, FSU. And then
you
the
think
weekend,
they'll ever change that, Nick? I think that seems a little silly.
No, I think they like. The thing is, so like
I know Jacksonville likes when people visit their town, but
yeah. The thing is, so like the Miami series, Florida fans, if Florida loses, whenever they lose to Miami in baseball, fans hate it and they freak out. It's not a conference game, so it's not. In the grand scheme of things, Florida's trying to win the SEC. And if they win the SEC, they're going to be a number, like a 1 seed, and they're going to host a regional and host a super regional. And especially being early on in the year, that's not a great indicator of what Florida will be in June or what Miami will be in June. So I think playing Florida State, a lot of people want those games to be, home and home every year, three-game series. But I think it makes more sense the way that they do it now. You get to play a big rivalry game on the road. You get to play in front of a great crowd in Jacksonville. You get like 10,000 people at those games.
Sounds like a good time in the Jacks, man.
Jacks, it's a beautiful stadium. You've got, the Jags Stadium right behind it. It's just a beautifully built ballpark. Same company that built and designed the Florida ballpark. So to answer your question, I do think they have the talent to turn it around. There's a lot of freshman arms who it's tough to say because there's a lot of freshman arms that you think will take some time to get ready. And then again, it's a really long season for an 18-year-old kid who's used to playing maybe 25 games in a season. And now regular season is 56.
Damn, that's a big shift.
We will. Yeah, I think they came on here last year and beat the same drum.
Hopefully not to the same result.
Man, they're gonna get Sully up out of here, man. The fans are not strict, but Sully got to get it together this year. He got some talent. We'll see what's up. But I'm down to pull up.
He's got like another decade on his contract. He has a very long contract.
I don't think our fans care about the length of it.
No.
His job is safe. I'm just talking about the fans, man. That's all. I
already saw it on the message board. So just a matter of time before it starts to hit these Twitter streets.
That's wild.
That's where all the drummers birth, man. The boys first, man.
That's wild. The message board fired Kiri Colbert because he didn't land a recruit. I can't even remember which recruiter it was.
DJ Allen.
DJ Allen.
Yeah, there you go. He was fired. He'd been on the job for 3 weeks. Fired.
Now the streets definitely got him on. He's on. They got a bird's eye view of.
There's a stakeout. There's a stakeout van. The timeline's got an FBI stakeout van outside of his house watching.
They watching his every move, bro. Especially with this wide receiver class we got cooking up this year. Like it's the stage's loaded. So we'll see what he could do.
On the opposite diamond, Gators women's softball.
Real quick. So then, for baseball, that first month too, also busy. So you're listening to this Tuesday. I'll be at Florida Ballpark Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For the next
22-22 Tuesday.
God, that's so bad, Dan. I know you're gonna feel good about that.
We're at the same corner, same time a lot.
Oh man. Nick, I'm sorry, they have games when? Tuesday, when else?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What do you have as a projected record out of those 5 games?
Liberty was a good team, and Kevin O'Sullivan made me do my homework because he told me that, and I'm like, all right, you're crazy. But Stetson is Tuesday.
Stetson's usually pretty good, right?
Stetson's normally good, especially there's so much talent in the state of Florida and in baseball, and then you can only give 11.7 scholarships, so you get some pitchers at a Stetson or an FAU that could be on Florida's roster. You just don't have enough scholarships for them. So Florida's at Stetson Tuesday. That game's on ESPN Plus, and then they host North Florida on Wednesday.
So what record you have?
I think you should beat Stetson, beat North Florida, and here we go. We're starting to lie. I think Florida should go 5-0 this week.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, we'll be here, same corner, same time next week.
Same time, man.
Oh man.
Nick got a hot hand. Nick just hit on Auburn with the basketball. I think he goes 6-0, man. I'm gonna ride with my dog. I'm riding with you. Open the door. Unlock the door, man.
Hey, we need to get you down. I'll be down again in South Florida again for the Florida-Miami series, the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Of what?
Need to get you down to Mark Light.
Of March?
Of March.
Oh, I'm
2
there.
weekends.
Yeah, I'm there. 100%. I'm there. 4th, 5th, and 6th. I can't come to 5th. 5th is a Saturday. I know that for sure. I gotta go to my grandmother's, so I'm gonna go to 4th.
Friday night.
Make
sure you find tickets. Get tickets because they sell that out. Miami
I thought
fans.
you was handling that. My bad.
Nick, get him in the press box. Come on.
No. I want to do stuff.
Miami's press box is tiny. We sit outside of the press box, basically with the fans.
Oh wow.
Chop it up.
I can only imagine the complaints from the press box.
My guy Laz sits right in front of the press box. Chopped it up with him 2 years ago or whenever it was. 2 years ago. Last time I was down there.
I'm pulling up 100%.
That's funny. Spencer made a comment. Nick invited you and then said, "Find tickets. We'll see you there, bud."
Yeah,
the baseball tickets ain't there. I can spring for it.
Yeah. It is a tough $8 ticket to get into the stadium.
What are they popular for? Ice cream, ices,
Mark Light shakes. The shakes. I think it was just a guy who started selling them back before when the stadium looked like a Little League stadium. But they get wild. There's the entire pieces of cheesecake in the cheesecake milkshake.
What?
No, the big thing. Hour-long line inside the stadium to get a milkshake.
Man, now we know how Corona started.
The second they blended that cheesecake, that was patient zero.
Easy 1,800 calories in a shake.
Man, that sounds
easy 18.
Sounds great though, but I'm just not my lane anymore. But I want to at least see it. I'll get the kid. I'll bring the kids. Somebody got to try that out.
I love it. On the opposite dime,
a lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar.
Dan's trying to get to the softball diamond.
I'm just trying to get softball. Nick keeps interrupting. Gators women's softball ends up winning the T-Mobile tournament that was in Gainesville this week. They beat number 14 Duke 9-3. Then they beat Nova, Louisville, and Florida A&M. Very decisive victories, 4-0, 9-1, 8-0. End up 10-0 on the season thus far. So congratulations to them. SEC softball freshman of the week, Kendra Falby, has been hitting her sprint. She's 10 for 10 on stolen bases this season. So congratulations to Kendra and the women's. But I do want to get into the meat and potatoes of some recruiting. We're just starting to get in and see some visitor lists that are going to be coming out for March 3rd, 5th, 6th, 18th, 19th, 26th. Shout out to Corey Bender and Gators Online for putting some of those together. I'll run through some of those names, but ultimately, Nick and Silk, I do want to hear some of your thoughts on recruiting. But March 3rd, 4-star Jordan Hall, defensive tackle, 4-star cornerback Sharif Denson, 4-star running back Trayon Webb, 3-star safety Kenton Kirkland are going to be the first 4 visitors. Then you follow it up by 5 more 4-stars coming the next week. Don't want to give away all this premium content. On March 6th, you have 4 more 4-stars coming. And then you kind of move down a list, kind of a who's who. I know Brandon Innes on March 6th, Santana Fleming also on March 6th are big names to look out for. And then certainly a number of names, including Cormani McLean, Tony Mitchell, Peter Woods, Samuel Mpemba, a lot of names that are going to be coming in the month of March to the University of Florida. Silk, want to get kind of your thoughts here. Obviously very early on, just starting to get offers out, etc. But give me a couple names that you're excited about that you want to see the Gators really prioritize.
I mean, at the top, I don't want to even go to no sleepers because I don't think no Gator fan want to hear nothing about the 3-star sleepers. So, I mean, Carmani McLean has got to be the top of the board. Lakeland kid, man, me and Namad had some conversations about him the other day. The kid's elite. I think he's the best DB on the field last year with McCall being on the team. 5-star kid that ended up heading to Florida State. I think he dropped down to a 4-star before the class was over. But I think Carmani McLean's at the top. Richard Young, just a home run hitter, explosive guy, the guy that could change a program. He one of them type of backs. I think he should be high on the board. I could go on and on. The talent in Florida is insane this year. But outside of Florida, it's insane as well. I like the quarterback they just offered out of Bama. I'm forgetting his name right now off the top of my head. I like that offer. I do like that we're going after the baby Manning kid, Arch Manning. I don't want to just settle for the easy guys on the board. We made his top 5 that he just released. I think Clemson didn't make it, so I thought that was interesting. So I think his recruitment, what do you think? I think his recruitment may come down to what's up with the Cutcliffe play. I hear that Texas is involved. I think Cutcliffe is heading there. His relationship with Cutcliffe and the family. You think that plays a significant role in his recruitment? I'm not saying Ole Miss as a real threat. I don't think they're going to take Lane Kiffin serious.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that thought. Just to briefly touch, Chris Vezina is the quarterback from Alabama, the 4-star.
Chris Vezina, that's his name. Sorry,
ranked number 72 nationally on 3. No, I think for Arch Manning, it's going to come down. I do think that the David Cutcliffe relationship is very strong. Obviously, worked with Peyton Manning over at the University of Tennessee. I think that there's a couple things. I think one is going to be opportunity. I think he's going to be a kid that's going to want to play early. I don't think that he's going to be a year 1 starter. I don't think he's looking for that, but I definitely think he's going to be looking for, where's his opportunity to play. Number 2, you mentioned relationships. I think that that's going to be important. And then number 3, I think NIL is going to be important. He's probably the biggest name in recruiting, and I can't even remember a prospect that's been this highly sought after in a very long time. Maybe Trevor Lawrence. Maybe there's some other names I'm forgetting, but no, I'm not saying in skill. I'm just saying he's a guy that everybody's been talking about since.
No, I'm not talking about skill. I'm just talking about hype and NIL potential. Yeah. I don't think there's a comparison that you could just find in football or even sports, man. His uncle's Peyton Manning, his grandfather is Archie Manning, the build up and hype of what he could be. All the big brands should come a knocking. I don't know why NIL play. I think he could get NIL anywhere. I don't know why the deals are differ by school. I'm pretty sure some schools offer some smaller things, but as far as big brands, I think his pool gonna be good regardless. What's our relationship like with him? Does anybody on the staff have a close relationship with him or prior?
Nick, you might know. I don't think off the top of my head they do. I know that they've been. There might be. I'd have to look into that. I don't know of any
Louisiana tie, right?
I think there's some Louisiana ties. I just don't know how strong. But like, listen, even if you don't land Arch Manning, why is it like new that Florida is recruiting hard going after the number one quarterback in the class? I think that's more what's the most egregious thing is like, why is Florida having to build like a relationship with him now? And I get like with Peyton, his uncle went to Tennessee and his other uncle went to Ole Miss and grandpa went to Ole Miss. I get all that. Like Florida might not be high up on the family's list of schools that they like to watch. But make someone say no to you. And I think
they want to win in the swamp. They might want to send him.
That should be the approach. Make them say no. Make the number one player in the country say no to you. So I like that. Hey, listen, even if they don't land him, I don't see it as a whiff. I mean, you're getting in way later because you're not going to get Arch Manning to go to Louisiana. He's never going to play at UL. He might play at Florida, and I think they're taking their shot.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. I mean, of the schools that you mentioned, and I'm not as keen on Texas's recruiting, in their quarterback room. But if you think of opportunity, obviously Clemson was on there, not any longer. Georgia, Alabama, some big schools that have obviously recruited a ton of 5-star, highly ranked 4-star quarterbacks. I mean, you've got some very deep rooms at all of those schools. Now we know with the transfer portal, anything can change at any time. But if you look at Florida's QB room, potentially entering next season, besides Anthony Richardson, you have Jack Miller, who's never played. You have Max Brown, who's never played. You have Carlos Del Rio and Jalen Kitna, who will have never played, right? And will Arch Manning come onto campus and be immediately better than probably at least 4 of those? Yeah. Right. So look at the opportunity, right? I think that Florida has a lot to sell with that opportunity. And, Florida and Billy Napier, have historically, been able to develop some good quarterbacks, under their tutelage and under their name. They've been able to put up some good numbers, and you're now selling an opportunity where you can come in and be, not only an early starter, but be, the guy on campus for a few years, compared to a few other schools where, yes, I know he's Peyton Manning's, nephew, Eli Manning's nephew, Cooper Manning, who was widely regarded as, an incredible athlete before he got injured or had to retire, in high school. Where else does that opportunity exist? And I don't know if there's a better opportunity, than Florida. Do I think that Florida gets him? No. But when you look at, just opportunity in a vacuum, I think that Florida's opportunity is, amongst the best in the country.
Scared money don't make money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So pull up. I do like Vazani. That's how you say his last name?
Yeah, I think it's Vazani or Vizina. I'm sorry,
Vizina. I do like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a kid that's being highly recruited by Clemson and Kentucky right now. Comes from Birmingham, Alabama. Florida got in, with him. There are a lot of quarterbacks that, are available. Very few have committed. Florida's offered 7 quarterbacks right now. None of them are committed except for, there's one, Malachi Nelson from South Carolina, but that could have been an old offer from the previous staff. Actually, it was. So long story short, you have an opportunity, but you do need to grab someone soon. You do want the quarterback to be in the class early. Obviously, Max Brown was an exception, but you do want your quarterback, especially going after skill players, to know who they're going to be playing with.
I do think Chris Vizina has a big arm. He's mobile enough. I don't think he's like Anthony Richardson, but he can move around and do some things and break when the pocket breaks down. I like his tape a lot. If you haven't checked out his tape, check out his tape. He's been rising up the rankings on a lot of different boards and whatnot. A lot of these kids are going to rise up the board. It's camp season. It's 7-on-7 season. These kids are going to be moving and grooving a lot and getting in front of a lot of evaluators.
Yeah, and you finally have a true 7-on-7, season coming up, right? Last season and the season before, highly, limited by COVID, but it seems like it's going to be, completely open. So I think you're going to see a lot of offers, but you definitely want to see, these guys start to get onto campus soon. Just looking at the list of players that are going to be coming onto campus over the next couple of weeks, none of them are quarterbacks. You've got a couple of wide receivers, couple running backs, but no quarterback has scheduled a visit just yet. I know Chris Vizina has said that he's going to visit, but again, nothing locked in. So you definitely want to try to get that quarterback by, I'm guessing, late April, early May, to really try to have him be the bell cow.
Yeah, I'm thinking April. Another kid that I like is the cousin of Derrick James, Jeremiah England.
Mm-hmm.
Another defensive back out of Polk County. Polk County got some talent. They always have talent, but they're pretty loaded this year. I think that's an offer that we just sent out fairly recently. I didn't think we would have a shot at this kid. I thought maybe Mike Norvell and the Seminoles would lock this up with the relationship with Durham and the Florida State ties, kind of a little close to a legacy play. But I think we got a couple of predictions. Some people think that we got a shot here. He's a 3-star now, but he's one of those guys that's going to fly up the boards once everybody get their eyes on him this spring.
Yeah, 6'2", 184 out of Lake Wales. Really solid player. I think that, like you said, Silk, he's going to be a guy that's probably no doubt a 4-star by the time that the summer rolls around. Guy that Florida has put some priority on getting him. So I think that that's going to be a guy that you're going to continue to see rise the rankings. Obviously, some of the other names that we've talked about at running back, Richard Young, 4-star, out of Lehigh Acres, a guy that Florida I know was after. Cedric Baxter, also from the Orlando area, Edgewater, a guy that Florida is really after. Treyon Webb. Go ahead.
No, I was saying elite. That's it.
Yeah. Treyon Webb out of Jacksonville. Would love some more Jacksonville players. Love Jacksonville. Mark Fletcher from American Heritage. He looks to be a lean to Miami right now. And then Ryan Bullard from Miami has an offer. Cedric Irvin from Miami, Christopher Columbus. A lot of top elite running backs in the state of Florida, and you have to grab one. Don't like to look into the class of 2024. They did lose their 5-star committed running back there, so puts even more of a need to continue to make sure that you're locking up this class. I think you need to get a highly regarded kid in this class. Florida has missed in the past, in the state of Florida in terms of getting the highly touted guy. So this year, I think is top priority for them to land a big name there.
Big names everywhere. We need a lot of big names. We got to close the gap.
I really like. I would put AJ Harris on that list.
Yeah.
Cornerback out of Alabama.
I think he pops fairly early too.
Mm-hmm. And who's the other one? I think you mentioned him, Jordan Haldan.
Yep. Visiting on March 3rd.
Yeah, I think he's a big one. Needs some defensive line help when you start looking at the depth chart coming up. And then running back. I mean, Florida's running back room is really deep for 22, but what does it look like in 23? So, a guy like you mentioned, Cedric Baxter, I think he's one that, I would put some emphasis on, pretty early, and then you're always
you like Baxter ahead of Richard?
Yeah, I think right now I do.
As a player or as somebody that Florida will probably more likely to land.
I think Florida.
I
think he's probably trending for Florida right now. And that's what I was saying in terms of landing.
Oh, okay.
That would be a great get. Ranked number 5 running back in the country right now from On 3. Really solid player, has offers from Georgia Tech, UCF, Arkansas, Florida State, USC, Miami, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, kind of the who's who
everybody
of names there. Like I said, he's the one that plays at Edgewater in Orlando. And, you would hope that Florida has an opportunity to grab a big name at running back too. Again, Florida needs they only have a few commitments in this class. They really need to get some of these bigger names to also attract other big names. As much as it is about relationships, as much as it is about opportunity, as much as it is about NIL and academics and everything else, elite kids also want to play with other elite kids. And that may be the thing that pushes, that next elite kid over the edge to commit is being able to play with a guy like, a Cedric Baxter, a Richard Young, Chris Vizina, an Arch Manning, those types.
No doubt.
Some other names, wide receiver, we've talked about it on this podcast a lot. The wide receiver room in the state of Florida, or the wide receiver group in the state of Florida is just ungodly. You have Carnell Tate. He's originally from Chicago, but he plays down at IMG Academy, number 1 ranked wide receiver in the country. But moving down the list, Jalen Brown from Gulliver Prep down in Miami. Brandon Innes will be on campus. They're going back into Louisiana with Shelton Sampson. But just, again, moving down Florida list, Hakeem Williams from Stranahan, Raymond Cottrell from Georgia, a guy that's previously committed to Florida. There's some talk that he may want to come back. Nathaniel Joseph is committed to Clemson. He's from Miami. But Robbie Washington, a ton of big names in the wide receiver room. DeQuavius Sori from Graceville, Florida. His cousin, a relative of his, was just hired by the University of Florida to be on their support staff. Tyler Williams from Lakeland. Bryson Rogers, I know a guy that Connor's very high on from Zephyr Hills, Wiregrass Ranch High School. Santana Fleming from Opelika, and the list kind of just goes down. You've got to be able to land some big names in the wide receiver room because they did not do well at wide receiver recruiting this.
Damn, Daniel.
Just reading names here, Nick. Outside of that, I'll be one to be honest and say don't know a ton about either of the trenches, an offensive or defensive line, just because there's so much change between now and the start of next year. And then when it comes to cornerbacks, and Cormani McLean is the guy that we mentioned. Florida's very high on number 1 player at cornerback, number 3 player overall, a 5-star plus on 3, but a bunch of names there. And then at the safety position, apparently just scroll down here, a bunch of offers went out. Florida's sitting in a decent position for a number of those, but again, a bunch of offers out there. Not a lot of players have committed thus far. I would imagine over the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see more. Sylvester Smith is a guy I know that Florida's very high on, out of Mumford, Alabama, number 13 ranked safety. And then certainly when you get to athletes, there's a lot of folks there. Aaron Gates is already committed, 4-star athlete. Samuel Mpemba from IMG Academy. And then just kind of moving down the list, including Creed Whittemore from Buchholz and brother of Florida Gators wide receiver Trent Whittemore. So obviously a lot to talk about. And then most importantly,
what a name.
We've mentioned it before, Facts Only will be coming back with Connor at the helm here soon to give you a much deeper breakdown on Florida Gators recruiting.
Real quick, Nick, who do you got for possible pop? Who you think could be one of the first names to come off as a big name to get this thing rolling?
Yeah, I mean, you want a quarterback. Quarterbacks commit super early, and then kind of recruit for you. I don't know. I don't think any of us. We talked a ton about Arch Manning, but I don't think that he'll pick Florida. Vizini, is that how we say it?
Vizani.
That was
Vizina, sorry, Jeezel.
I think somebody, not quarterback, just the first to pop. These guys haven't got nobody in this class, right? In the 23 class.
They've got a few.
They got a few? Okay.
Yeah.
Bell cow.
I think AJ Harris is a guy that could pop early.
Right.
I think he really wants to get on campus and see Corey Raymond and see the coaches, in their, I think he gave Corey Bender the quote, in their natural habitat, like see them, at work, what they're doing, and kind of get a view of what it would be like to be coached by them at Florida, more so than just talking to them on the phone. He's a guy. And then I think another one, I don't know if he'll be an early pop, but Derrick LeBlanc, the defensive lineman, top 100 defensive lineman on 3 from Osceola. Florida, the new staff is really making a push for him. He likes Napier a lot. And he's someone who was not considering Florida until this coaching change. So he loves the family atmosphere there. And I think it'll be he's a guy, if you start looking, Napier, obviously everyone didn't like how little emphasis there was on Florida, guys from Florida or close to Gainesville. But I think that was just a product of the short amount of time that they had, and Napier and his staff want to do their own evaluations. I think I read a quote, or I listened to the 1010 XL interview with Billy Napier, and he said they looked at Florida's national championship teams, and there was anywhere from 65 to 80% of those rosters were kids who were 4.5 hours away from Gainesville, and that can mean some places in Alabama and Georgia, but that's essentially you're recruiting Broward County on up. So right. I think there will be an emphasis on recruiting the state of Florida hard and heavy.
You said, because everybody says that, every new staff says they're like a family. They sell a family on the trail. It does feel a little different. What are you hearing from the recruit side that's different than the last family sale?
I think there's an all hands approach on guys, but there's also Florida before. Every coach is going to have an area. Hey, you're going to send somebody and he's going to recruit Tampa. You're going to send somebody to recruit West Palm and Broward County. Someone's going to recruit Gainesville and Clay and all the counties around Alachua. But you don't just not talk to somebody. If there's a running back in Tampa, but it's the offensive line coach's area, hey, the running back coach needs to talk to him. I know it's not his area, but he needs to know his position coach. So I think there's a lot more communication among the coaching staff, in that they're all kind of getting involved. And it's not, well, I don't cover the Panhandle, so I'm not going to talk to that recruit. And it's like, well, Rob Sale needs to talk to the offensive lineman from Tallahassee who wants to come to Florida. And it can't just be Kiri Colbert talking to him. So I think that's the biggest thing. And when you look at it, like a family atmosphere, it's okay. Well, I'm not just talking to the guy that has to be here because he's my school's in his territory. I'm talking to the offensive line coach. The head coach is talking to me. I'm talking to, when I'm on campus, I'm talking to Bree. Right. I'm talking to Katie. And I'm talking to Kevin Camps while I'm doing my photo shoot. I think they're trying to get everybody involved in on the recruiting, and not just the person who has to because of where the kid's located.
Right.
Well, I think some of that. I think some of that also has to do with organization, right? I mean, you're looking at a recruiting staff that is substantially bigger, at least percentage wise. When there were some things, that were admittedly missed under the last, coaching staff. I think that there was maybe some of it might have been some overwhelming, a lack of organization, whatever it might be, leadership. But it does seem to me there's a lot bigger concerted effort, not only just from coaches, but from the administrative staff that's there, from, Katie and Bree, but to all of your other, off the field analysts that are going to be involved in that recruiting process too, to also be able to point, hey, that is a 4-star kid that we want. You need to go talk to him. Whatever you're doing right now, stop it, go check in, go talk, go have that conversation with him. And from things that I'm hearing, conversations that I'm having, it just seems a lot more fluid, seems a lot more organized, and there does seem to be, a lot more direction in terms of the way that recruiting's going, beyond just, let's be a family and let's like each other.
No doubt. Like you said, Grayson Howard is one of the kids that's visiting March 5th. I would put him on commit watch as well. He'd be one of those. He's a 4-star linebacker out of Jacksonville. Likes Mike Peterson a lot. That could be a guy I see pop early as well.
Yeah,
but March is going to be a big month.
I think he was recruited by South Carolina by Mike Peterson.
Right.
And then they've had a great relationship. But like you said, Silk out of Jacksonville, number 17 ranked linebacker on the On3 consensus, 6'3", 208. Really solid player. Watched his film actually not long before we started today.
Traditional linebacker, they like to get their nose into funny business, man. Not none of those tweeners where you're trying to find a guy that could maybe play defensive back and run wide receivers. Nah, he's very athletic. He can move. You know, he's not stiff. He's not. I don't think he's stiff, but he can get busy. He likes to get his face into like nonsense.
Yeah, and like you said, Silk, a big priority. Billy Napier visited his high school, Andrew Jackson High School. Let's see, Jay Bateman, a week after he was hired, went on a visit too. He's close with, like you said, Mike Peterson, also close with Jamar Chaney as well, who I think is an unheralded guy. You know, we've talked a lot about him on the show, but that's a guy that you're going to see in a ton of recruiting, interviews this year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how long we can keep him on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to be long.
Right.
Florida just offered to while we were talking to Kelly Rae, Florida offered Jalen Kilgore, athlete from Putnam County in Georgia. I think South Carolina, not a great offer list yet. South Carolina, Kentucky, UCF, Georgia Tech have all offered. And he's safety. An athlete, kind of. He listed as an athlete, but I think Florida would be looking at him as a safety. And he tweeted that it was Billy Napier who offered him as well. So always nice to get the offer from the head coach.
Yeah, puts himself with a 3.5 GPA, a 4.5 40, 6'2", 190. I was watching just the first minute of his highlight tape while we were talking here too. Not again, a guy that I think will also climb the ranks, being looked at by Clemson in Georgia as well. They haven't offered. Liberty, Louisville, Kentucky, and UCF have offered, as well as South Carolina. But again, a guy that I think is also going to climb the ranks as well. I think that might just about do. I'm trying to see what else might be happening here for the Gators. Shout out to the men's swim team who won their 10th straight SEC title. Shout out to men's tennis who had a big win over Georgia over the weekend. So a lot of great things happening in Gator Nation beyond just recruiting. And like we said, we're going to have a lot more about recruiting over the next couple of weeks as recruiting does start. Do want to give a shout out to Hunter Barco. Nick, I'm not sure if you mentioned, but he was the SEC Pitcher of the Week and National Player of the Week as well. Sorry that I missed that. Outside of that, big news out of Georgia. Matt Luke, their line coach, is leaving, stepped down.
You hate to hear it. You hate to hear it.
Definitely a very solid recruiter, and then just an incredible offensive line coach. Was the former head coach at Ole Miss before Lane Kiffin was there. Wonder what that might do, if any players might enter themselves on the transfer portal. But we'll definitely see. But I'd love to see Georgia take hits.
Absolutely.
Love to see Georgia take hits.
Yeah, man, I'm here for more, right?
Yeah, it's bad time. I mean, I don't know. It got to be something going on in his personal life. He's just like exhausted. We just want a natty, man.
Yeah.
It's like a weird offseason so far from them. Like they're getting like a lot of transfers. They also coached in Miami. Just got to retire.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have turnover, right? I mean, we just mentioned offensive line coach leaving, their defensive back coach leave, their defense coordinator leaves to go to Oregon. He takes a couple coaches with him over there. So definitely a lot of replacement. You know, obviously we talk a lot about Nick Saban replacing his coaching staff seemingly every offseason too, but it's a lot easier said than done. You can't always catch lightning in the bottle. So.
For sure.
You stopped labeling that segment Gator News of the Week.
That's because I wasn't prepared.
Okay.
Normally I'm just reading off bullet points. This week I'm just scrolling FloridaGators.com trying to find me some information here. I'll work on it next week. Preparation is key.
Absolutely.
Preparation's key.
Speaking of preparation, Silk,
preparation
Valentine's
is key.
Day was last week.
Right.
We've talked about preparing, yourself for Valentine's Day. So let's President's Day is today. I'm not sure we're doing any preparing, but I'm sure there's some big holidays, big anniversaries coming up that it's time to plug Manscaped for us.
Yeah, plug parts. I'm here to give you the tools. Shout out to manscaped.com.
Nick,
there you go. You got
that's a new deodorant.
Oh, okay.
They call it the Ultra Premium Collection is what you got there, Nick.
Lip balm.
Lip balm.
I gotta check to see if my package was delivered.
Go get the package for your package. Shout out to manscaped.com. Be sure to visit manscaped.com for 20% off free shipping. But as you can see, they hooked your boy up with the deodorant, body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, hydrating body spray, lip balm. The good from the great folks at Manscaped, man. Be sure to visit them folks. Get your ball deodorant. It's that time of the year. I posted it on Twitter this week.
I saw that.
Stepped outside. I said, woo, boy, the breeze is all right. Wasn't a bad breeze, but I can feel the humidity starting to set in a little bit. So, prepare yourself, fellas.
South Florida was humid and hot. It had been nice and cool up here in Gainesville.
I forgot you was down here, man.
I got back, put the sweatshirt back on, but very, very, very warm and balmy, especially down there by the beach.
I know you ain't packed no ball deodorant. You look unprepared.
I never got it. That was the package before I was part of the show.
Oh man!
But he could have used promo code 20SG and bought it himself, Corey.
But out here chafing. You out here chafing, waiting for a free ball deodorant, fam?
Yeah. Listen, times were tough. Times were tough.
Glad to see you're prepared, Nick. Use promo code 20SG at checkout. Appreciate everybody that does. They consistently remind us that you guys are very loyal listeners that buy Manscaped products.
Shout out to Manscaped.
So I think it's your turn for song of the week, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I thought it was me.
It might be Nick. Silk, you had last week. My apologies.
I did not have last week. What are you talking about?
Who was last week?
Yeah, I think it was me last week. I'm like almost positive it was me last week.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry,
Big
Kyle.
figures.
I told the groom that it was my pick this week.
No, you got it. Go ahead. Shout out to the groom.
Let him pick the song.
Now, even if it is me, man, shout out to the groom, man. Big day. Shout out to you. You're the best man. At least you could do. The speech probably was ass, so at least you could give him a song.
That's a lie. Speech was fantastic. Killed it. Crushed the room. Professional internet essay writer. Crushed.
Nick, did you have note cards? Did you print out a piece of paper?
So
it
was.
That's why he promised him this song.
I should have printed it out. I read it off my phone. I was going to memorize it.
Oh,
and then
man, just ruined every picture.
I started reading. I started writing, and it was like 1,800 words. So there was going to be no memorizing. It was like a 10.5-minute speech.
Nick, that's far too long.
Yeah. I had a wrap it up button for you, bro. I'm trying to get back to the bar, baby. What's going on?
It reminds me of the clown on Showtime at the Apollo, just up there, just sweeping him off stage.
10 minutes.
Well, I walked up and I said, "I'm going to be your tour guide for the next 45 minutes."
That was longer than my ceremony, Nick.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to
the open bar too during your speech. Ridiculous.
Shout out to me.
Oh boy.
Don't have a good track record of remembering things or great track record of leaving things, losing things. Hour and a half before the ceremony, someone hands me the rings. And I was like, this is not a good decision. Not a good decision for the bride, the groom, the entire ceremony, or for me.
Sure.
So I did not leave them. The boxes did not leave my hand for 90 minutes. Take the rings out of the box, put them in my suit pocket. Her ring fit very snugly inside of his. So it comes to the point where they're asking for the rings. And I'm like, yep, got it. No problem. Put my hand in my pocket. There's only one ring. And I start freaking out. Pull it out and I just see that
Could you imagine if you really lost it?
I thought, oh my, there was a hole in my suit. There's like, I've done everything right, but there's a hole in the pocket. But luckily had both the rings. I don't think the bride was told that I was in charge of the rings. She would not have signed off on that. All right. So
Yeah.
that being
Hey,
said,
for 10
was
minutes,
hold
for
on.
10 minutes of a shitty speech, man. What you got for the guy? Give him some heat. You gotta give him some heat.
He said he wanted 99 Problems, Jay-Z. He said
That's a wild song.
yeah.
Especially right after your wedding.
He walked out. So he walked out. He walked out to they
We
had
need
a
to bring him on as
steel
a guest
drummer.
next week. I got questions.
They had a steel
Right.
drummer. So when he walked out to start the wedding, the steel drummer played PIMP. Loud. I'm mad I
didn't get
Really
invited to this occasion, man.
Really kicked the party off. It
My
was
type
a
of party.
great wedding. Great wedding. He wants 99 Problems, Jay-Z. Shout out to Kyle and JC Johnson.
Congrats, man.
Great
Congrats.
seeing y'all.
Congrats. Well, boys, I'm heading up to Nashville on Thursday. So shout out
Sorry
to
hear that, man.
all my
You
Nashvillians.
sound so disappointed, man.
No, I'm pumped. The Tampa Bay Lightning are playing the Nashville Predators outside at the Titans Stadium. It's always been a bucket list to go to one of these outdoor games. So very excited about doing that.
Outdoors. Put it on the gram, fam. I want to see it, man.
It'll be on the
Go
gram.
there.
Same
gram.
Yeah. Same corner, same time, boys.
Already.